Hi, I'm Mark from eReplacementParts.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the cord on a Porter Cable random orbital sander. The cord on your sander receives a lot of wear and tear and abuse. It's not uncommon to see nicks in the cord or cracked insulation. Whenever you see a bare wire, you know it's time to replace the cord on your sander. Replacing the cord on your sander is easy to do, and I'm going to show you how. Power cords as well as many other parts can be found on our website. Let's get started. I'll begin by removing the 3 screws that secure the sander pad to the sander. Now I can remove the clutch belt. Next I'll remove the black sander pad housing. It's held in place with 2 screws. With the screws removed, I can separate the 2 halves of the housing. Now I'll remove the dust pad housing O-ring. I'll use a screwdriver to get it started, and then I'll just pry it away from the housing. Now I'll remove the sander pad support. I removed the sander pad housing so I'd be able to grab the fan so that the screw doesn't just rotate as I try to remove it. With the pad support removed, now I can go ahead and remove the fan. The 2 halves of the motor housing are secured with 4 screws. I'll go ahead and remove those now. With the screws removed, now I can split 1 half of the housing. Now I can remove the old cord protector. To do that, I'll need to disconnect the wires from the cord. So first I'll pull this connection where the white wire meets the brush, and next the connection where the black wire meets the switch. And you can see that this power cord is damaged, so it's a good thing we're going to replace it. With the old cord removed, now I can use it as a pattern to cut the leads on the new cord to the proper length. Now I'm going to slide the cord protector over the cord, as it'll be easier to install it now than after I have the terminals attached. Now I'll strip back just about 1/4 inch of insulation from each of the wire's ends. I'll give these a twist. The white wire will receive this flag terminal. You'll notice this tab on the one end of the terminal, and that just connects a series of these together at the factory. So I'll go ahead and cut that tab off. Now I'll crimp the terminal onto the end of the white wire. Flag terminals are kind of difficult to install. They actually have a machine they use at the factory to install them. So what I like to do is use my crimpers, and I'll crimp it on as best I can, and then later I'll go back and apply some solder to make sure it's a good solid connection. Now I'll secure the flag connector with some solder, as well as tin the end of the black wire. I'll apply a little bit of paste flux to each wire, and now I can solder. Now we can make the wire connections back at the sander. First, I'll attach the black wire back to the switch. And reinstall the flag connector back to the brush. And then it's just a matter of tucking the switch and the wires back into the housing. You want to make sure you get everything tucked out of the way so it doesn't get pinched when you put the two halves of the housing back together. Now we can reinstall the housing. You might notice this little rubber bumper. And this just goes down in the housing where the bearing attaches. And again, that's there just to provide a little cushion to the bearing so the bearing has a little room to play. I'll make one last check of the wires and make sure everything's tucked out of the way so they're not going to get pinched. And then reattach the housing. And it gets secured with the screws. Now I'll slide the fan back over the shaft. Now I'll place the pad support back over the fan and spindle. Next comes the washer. The side with the recess should be facing towards you. And I'll secure it all with the screw. And again, I'll hold the fan to prevent the motor shaft from spinning as I tighten down the screw. Now I can install the pad housing O-ring. Now install the pad housings. They just slide over the gray motor housing, and I align the ends with the seam in the motor housing. Both sides, and then I'll secure it with the screws. Now I can install the clutch belt. First I'll wrap it around the fixed pulley and then around the pad support. And I'll rotate the pad support until the belt's in place. Now I can install the pad. A trick to make it a little easier to align it is to insert a small screwdriver through one of the holes in the pad. Then I put that same screwdriver in the hole in the pad support, and then I secure it with the screws. And that's all it takes to replace the cord on a Porter Cable random orbital sander. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment.